Hey, gang, we're back with another great CPA purpose story for you this week. I'm Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs, still looking for that elusive why, right, behind the work that CPAs do. And this week, my guest is James Moots. James is controller and director of IT for Apartment Services. That's a property management company based in Hunt Valley. James has an interesting story to tell. He's a Midwest boy, born and raised, spent time in Missouri and Illinois and Oklahoma. A lifelong diehard Kansas City Chiefs and Royals fan. He came to Maryland in the mid 1990s with a computer science degree in his back pocket. But he also had a seminary degree. At one point, he thought he wanted to be a full-time minister. Was recruited to come to Maryland to help an inner-city church in West Baltimore and stuck around. Eventually took a job with Apartment Services as their tech guy. And then back in 2012, he read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, a book that asks readers to consider one thing that they can do to make themselves just a little bit more valuable to their companies, their employers. And for James, then in his early 40s, that answer was, well, I could probably learn accounting. And so he did. Long story short, eventually earning his CPA. I'm going to let him tell you more about that here in just a second. For James, this profession is about opening doors. It's about adding value. It's about not crunching numbers, but serving people. Mostly, it's one of the best examples you're going to find of the notion that it's never too late to learn something new and to change your life at the same time. Really great story here this week, and I'm going to let James tell the rest. Here's James Moots with his CPA story. So I usually start these interviews, James, by asking folks what attracted them to accounting at the beginning. And for most of them at the beginning, means, like high school, maybe freshman year of college. But yeah, I understand from Rebecca, you took kind of a different path. So I'd love to maybe start this interview just to have you take a couple of minutes and explain to us how you arrived at accounting, because it really was a little bit of a journey for you, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a journey. Yes. Yeah. Because I've got a computer science degree from the 80s, but all my electives at the time were math and physics,
Uh-huh.
calculus track. To this day, I've never used calculus in my professional career.
I'd be hard pressed to know of one person who does, but maybe I'm just in the wrong field. So.
I mean, I could have if I went into engineering or something like that, but I didn't. And so I found myself in Baltimore at this company, Apartment Services. I've been there 24 years, and I've been there a number of years. And it's like, my boss doesn't speak calculus or physics. They speak business and accounting.
Okay.
My boss was the controller at the time, and then and also the president of the company. It's like they're really into business, and there's one maybe negative thing, one positive thing that maybe helped influence my decision to get into accounting, because I knew nothing at all, or
Right.
into my early 40s, I would say nothing at all about accounting. Positive thing, I read the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And one of the questions in there was, what one thing could you do to make yourself more valuable to your company? It's like, I could probably learn accounting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did. I started taking accounting 101 at Hartford Community College. Took it online, and it went really well. It's like, okay, well, I'll take accounting 102, and one thing led to another, intermediate accounting and cost accounting and management accounting and business, and took all these classes. And then I eventually said, this is going fairly well. How far could I take this?
Uh-huh.
So I decided to take the CPA preparation track. This was about 13 years ago.
Okay.
When I
Okay.
started taking classes, actually.
So
I
like
just kept taking,
2012 or so, something like that.
yeah, right around there.
Okay.
And just really took about one class a semester for most semesters. And then eventually got to the point where I was ready to, I took all the electives to take the CPA exam. And then I started studying for the CPA exam, purchased a Becker program, and started spending a lot of time studying for it. Um, I doubted myself, had frustrations, I think, in every segment, but I took that first test, and I decided to take FAR first because I think it's the most difficult. And it's like, man, if I can pass that one, I can pass anything. And so spring of 2021, I took it, And it's like, I didn't know how I did. I didn't know if I passed it. And then I got the results. It's like I passed it. And it was like just a huge boost of confidence.
Oh, sure. I
It was
can
like,
imagine.
one of the best feelings ever. And it's like, okay, I can take, if I can do that, I just kept on taking the other sections and then finished past last section in spring of 2022. And again, and I think I had doubts in every section. I think I was like, oh, this is too hard. I can't do this. My wife and family would tell you I probably had some bad attitudes at time and got frustrated, but I just
Sure.
stuck with it and then eventually passed. And then I was, as I was telling Rebecca at the MACPA event. So I finished. I'm super thrilled in 2022. Okay, I passed all the exams. Well, now I need 2,000 hours under the direction of a currently licensed CPA, and that presented a little bit of a challenge because there was no one at my company that was a currently licensed
This is
CPA.
CPA. Interesting. Okay. So,
So my boss at the time, he had been a CPA, but he wasn't current with his license, which really, to be fair, at my job, you don't really have to be a CPA, in the private industry. So I decided, okay, what can I do? I didn't feel like I could just sort of like quit my job at my company and take an entry level position. So I went to connected with Laura Barwick, CPA out here, and she runs a Barwick CPA place, and was able to make arrangements where I could work full time at my own job and then 20 hours a week at Barwick CPA for like 2 years, actually a little bit over 2 years.
oh,
Um,
that's incredible.
so and then I've just recently finished up my hours and I got my certificate. I think it was like in February, March. I forget the exact date, but wait a minute, I have the certificate right there. I can see it.
I was
Yes,
going to say you got to learn that date, James.
yes, yes, I do. No, it's I'm understanding January 30th. Yes,
There you go.
that's yes.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That is quite a journey. So I'm curious, as you were starting down this path, what your boss was thinking and what kind of were they supportive of what you were doing, or what was all that like having that conversation with them?
Uh, you know, uh, my boss at the time may have not been real supportive of what I was doing. So I was working in IT. I was the system administrator for a while. I eventually became IT supervisor, and I was pretty established in the IT department, ran the IT department, and I think he thought it was a little good that I was doing it, but to be honest, he wasn't super supportive at the time. However, some of the other management was more supportive, I would say. And then a couple of years ago, there was a big management change in our company, and the new management was much more supportive and let me do a schedule that worked out a little bit better. And so I really appreciate the current management of Department Services, super supportive, and they've been great to work with, I would
Oh,
say.
that's fantastic. We always so many of the people that I've talked to for the series um, will say that having that foundation in accounting is it's immeasurable how important it is and how much it contributes to your career path flexibility going forward, because you can translate that foundational knowledge in accounting into almost anything you want to do. And I think you're kind of discovering that now. I mean, I'm interested. Do you consider yourself now an accountant? Do you still consider yourself kind of an IT person? What do you call yourself when somebody asks you what do you do? What's your answer?
I think I'm a little hesitant to claim that I'm an accountant, even though it's like, I'm a CPA and all that. But and I certainly know that, okay, I passed the CPA exam. That doesn't mean I know everything. There's a lot I don't know, but I am an accountant, and
Mhm.
and I really do, and I'm in that role now. I'm doing accounting 8 hours a day. I try not to mess with the IT people too much, and
Probably hard to do, but yeah,
once in a while I help out. Once in a while I'm still helpful.
yeah, yeah.
but I am. And back to what you were saying, it really is true. Like, okay, so I worked there in IT and I had, I sort of understood the computer systems and still do understand the systems. At my job, we use Yardi for property management, which is pretty popular. And but in accounting, I sort of see how everything comes together, which is really cool. Like in accounting, I feel like we can sort of see everything from like in our department, like people are renovating units and we can see, okay, how does that affect like the gross potential? How does that affect the revenue, projections and we can see how things tie together in the expense. And I've worked with can see like the service and the leasing departments and the various accounts payable and accounts receivable. I see how it all comes together now in the accounting side of things. And I really enjoy being able to help the departments get things done, help us work together, streamline processes. That's something I really enjoy in sort of my new role.
That's terrific. Well, I'm curious because you may come to this answer in a way that's a little bit different than most people, but the purpose of these series of interviews that we've been doing is to kind of dig a little deeper into the purpose of the profession, right? To ask
Hmm.
less about what CPAs do and more about why they do it. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious what you believe the purpose is behind your work. I mean, what do you accomplish by doing what you do as an accountant, I guess, as a CPA on a day-to-day basis? What do you see as that purpose?
Yeah, I think I see it. My purpose is to really facilitate and make more efficient the business processes that we have, and then be able to communicate, obviously to our owners, our investors, our stakeholders, what the financial status is of the company. To be able to translate, some things. Okay, don't go super in depth on all the ratios for balance sheets or things like this, but talk about, okay, here's this number and this means this, and try to make connections between, I guess, the different parts of the company. And again, I really enjoy when I can help this department here work with this department here. We can figure out a problem together and make things better.
It really is almost like speaking a language that's a little bit different from everybody else in the organization, right? And be like I think you use the word translate. I think that's a great way of looking at it. Just you being able to help other people see a side of the business that maybe they weren't seeing beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if I can help with that, then I think I fulfilled part of my purpose.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
that's fantastic. So this was you said 20 was it 2022 that you earned your CPA? Is that right?
2022 is when I passed, right, the last exam. And then
Got
I
it.
had
Okay.
it took a while to figure out, okay, how am I going to get these hours? And
Yeah.
because it was again, my situation is a little bit different. And, you know, uh, I wasn't working as an accounting firm and I didn't have other CPAs above me that I could report to. Yeah. So.
But it might be, I mean, you may have touched on it a little bit in a previous answer, but what do you like most about being a CPA so far? What's most gratifying or just being able to call yourself a CPA? What feels good about that?
I think, part of the reason I became a CPA too is to be able to help out at my business, but I also want to help out at my church, maybe help out with other nonprofits. So I think one of the things that's most gratifying is I think it opens up some doors to be able to help out different places. I think it provides opportunities, yeah, to be able to make connections that I wouldn't otherwise be able to make. I did really enjoy going to the first MACPA event um, and a couple of weeks and make some connections there. So I think that's part of it for me. I'm still such a newbie CPA, so
Sure. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably going to feel new for a while, but gosh, we're just I mean, we're proud of you and happy that you walked that journey and are here now with us. So that's fantastic. I'm kind of curious, having traveled the path that you did, if you were to sit down with a high school or college student who's kind of, struggling to figure out where they fit in or what they want to do with their life. I mean, what would you tell them about accounting?
I think one of the things about accounting is like I think the perception is that sometimes accountants sort of like stay in their own little silo and and they just deal with numbers all day. And I find that I'm constantly dealing with people and then also dealing with numbers and then trying to make those things connect. So I feel like accounts can be very integral to the company. They can be uh, what do I want to call it? Like the almost the glue that brings things together. So we're
Mhm.
not necessarily just isolated, that we're people that can, through accounting, you can really help out a lot of other people.
Great stuff there from James Moots. So glad he could take time out of his busy schedule to be with us this week. We want to hear from you as well. So head on over to macpa.org/y and share your story with us as we try to offer just a little bit of inspiration to the next generation of accounting and finance folks. We want to hear what your CPA purpose is as well. As always, thanks so much for being here. Great talking to you. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great week. Take care.